What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast Clocks Running podcast for everything flag football officials. I'm your host, Ant, and tonight we are going worldwide. So, without further ado, let me bring on the guest. First and foremost, we got Jacob from the country of North Carolina. Is that?
it's our little world. You get
I
5 seasons in a week. You can have cheer wine to drink with your Bojangles. You can see it's all foreign stuff to you.
Okay, what is cheer wine? What is that?
It's like a cherry delicious drink, man. It's a soda. It's made here in North Carolina. It's North Carolina native. It's the best.
Okay, but what was that chicken that you guys had for me when I was out there? Where was
Man,
that from?
who knows? George's great aunt's, uncle's, cousin's sister probably made it for you. Who knows what he got you? It wasn't Bojangles. It wasn't right.
Oh, okay. All right, fair enough. All right, so I know this. We just got to call this dude a day one. I mean, as soon as this podcast came out, he's been listening. He's been begging to get on the show. So honestly, Jacob, I don't know if you know where it is. I have no clue where the Cayman Islands actually are. I couldn't point it out in a
I
map.
was always told that's where you send all your money when you got illegal money. So it's got to be with you.
Oh, okay. All right.
You'll be
Well,
with them.
well, let's bring him on. Here he is. What up, Dean?
What's
What up,
up?
dude?
What's up? What's up? What's up? First and foremost, what's Bojangles?
Oh my God, it's the best chicken ever, man. You
Good
Oh.
to
gotta
know.
have a Bojangles.
Good to know. I'll try it on my way out to Nashville.
There
I
you go.
mean, here's the thing, Dean. I just got to tell you this though. There's literally like 32 people that live in the state of North Carolina. So just because 32 people like Bojangles does not mean it's the best chicken in the world. Like,
If 32 out of 32 people say something's good, that's 100%. It means it's
It is
definitely gonna be
100%. Hey, hey, my aunt lives in North Carolina, so don't.
See?
She's probably one of the 32.
Exactly. Me and her and the 30 others that live here all agree.
so Dean, where is the Cayman Islands? Just like it's in the Central Time Zone. Is that right?
Yeah, so we're an hour behind Charlotte right now. So we're basically on the same time as Nashville, which is weird. But it's yeah, it's really at the same time as Nashville, but an hour behind
Wait a
you.
minute.
Um, I'm confused.
Do you guys not have daylight yeah, I am confused. Do you guys not have daylight savings time? Because aren't you further east
Uh,
technically geographically?
I think
Now
well
I'm pulling Google Maps up. I don't believe this.
It is
we're
in the
right
Central Time
behind.
Zone.
Yeah, we're right below Cuba. We're like I think it's a 30-minute flight from Cuba. So it's you can barely see us on the map. There's three Cayman Islands technically. There's Grand Cayman, Cayman Brac, and Little Cayman. Obviously I live in Grand Cayman. Grand
Of course
Cayman,
you live in the
the
Grand. The
biggest.
Grand Cayman.
Yeah, I live in the Grand, the biggest one.
Okay, so let me just ask you
I'll
this: if I want to rent a tugboat and take it from the Cayman Islands to Miami, how long is that going to take?
probably 2 days. So
Okay.
don't rent a tugboat. Definitely don't. Our population, and we have a total population of like 80,000 people. Like that's it. Done.
Oh, okay. That's a nice little island.
So I'm looking on a map right now, and I see where the Cayman Islands are. They're south of Cuba, but it's directly in line with North Carolina. Why are you on the Central Time Zone? You guys not
I
believe
have
in
no
daylight
idea.
savings?
I don't think so.
That's why they don't have daylight savings time. That's why. Okay,
Oh,
makes
okay.
So
sense.
we
So you don't fall back or
Gotcha.
spring forward, do you?
no. So Miami will fall back and spring forward. We just stay on like one
You
time.
guys just there. You go. Okay, that explains it.
Mm.
Oh, so
So
so actually, technically, you do switch back and forth between East and Central. Then is
yeah.
that?
So we'll. Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah.
okay.
We in
All
yeah, around no around I think it's November. We go back
Yep.
to on time with Charlotte and Miami, and
Mm-hmm.
then it's yeah exactly. So It
All
does.
right.
It's
Well,
confusing, but you get used to it.
th- thank you for educating two dumb Americans on the Cayman Islands.
Hey, we're not
Uh,
know-it-alls.
uh, all right. So, Dean, I just, you're a new guest. Just as you know, any other new guest that has come on, they have their opportunity to just kind of share their origin story about how they got involved in flag football. So, Dean, the floor is yours.
All right, so basically, I moved to the island in 2007. I knew nothing about American football. I didn't even know what it was because in South Africa, we don't like it's non-existent. So when I moved to the island, I had no idea. First game I ever watched of American football was the Giants Patriots in the Super Bowl. Um, and my brother was like, "Oh, you got to pick a team." And I knew nothing about football, so I picked the Patriots just because I loved how Tom Brady was so fired up, ready to go. So I picked the Patriots, and then it turns out I kept following him after that time, and I was like, "Oh, they're actually a pretty good football team." So with that, I looked on the island and I was like, "Are there any flag football leagues on the island?" So there was. I joined the kids league. I played in 2010. I caught like 12 touchdowns in my first season because no one would guard me because they wouldn't expect me to catch the ball. So, and it was always goal line plays. And then there was a coach. There was a coach, Jamal. His name was Jamal Young. He coached us, and he said to me, "Oh, I see you really like the sport. Would you ever consider officiating?" And I'm like, "Well, I'll give it a try." And then I began officiating when I think it started out in 2012, like just looking at watching plays and watching how the officiate. And then in 2013, I started, and the rest is history. So
Nice. So,
I
and
worked my way
what's
up.
the format out there?
Well, when I started, it was purely 8 man and 9 man,
Gotcha.
which which was crazy because I was the very big guys come running down on the sideline and it's like you're this little skinny like 17-year-old and you're just like well not skinny but like like not really you were let me rephrase that I was never skinny I was never ever skinny but
Hey,
like
man.
you're this you're this new 17-year-old and they're like these veteran players and you throw a flag on them and then they're like oh you don't know what you're talking about this and that and it was very intimidating at first but then over time I just realized that you're not going to talk to me like that because I got the stripes you don't so that kind of helped and then um, I was obviously I got my first real shot with the two of the biggest rivals that we have on the island, which is it's a dirty rivalry. Like it's the worst rivalry we have, and they decided to put me in charge of it and lead a 4 man crew. And it was the best game I've ever officiated. So, and then ever since then, I've just taken charge, and now I'm the head of officiating for the league. So it's and now obviously now we're we've transitioned fully to 5 man because it's the way forward. So we're doing 5 man contact, 5 man non-contact, and co-ed.
Nice.
Nice. So, how big is this league? How many teams?
So it started out. We've lost a lot of teams, obviously with people getting older and whatnot. But we're summer league is normally like eight men's teams and usually about six women's teams. And then and then now it's I think this year we're looking at about 5 men's teams and 4 women's teams. So it's tiny, obviously, because you got a small island. It's not really a massive league, but it's the quality of play you get because these players play every year, and obviously, the more they play, the better they get. So it's high intensity, and it gets rowdy, very rowdy.
Yeah. And again, us two dumb Americans, I don't know anything about the Cayman Islands or, like, is it like you guys all have a thick English accent? Like, what is the culture of the Cayman Islands?
So
Like,
that is
what does
great.
rowdy look
That is
like?
so rowdy. Well, that's obviously everyone with sports is rowdy, right? Like you come into sports, you're gonna have emotions run high, but Caymanian culture, it's very laid back. It's very interesting. I love it because it's island life. Uh, The accent, I kind of can't pinpoint the accent. It's unique. It's really unique. It's a one of a kind. So, I mean, it's you get your local food, your breadfruit. You got your your plantains or plantain. Oh my God, they're gonna kill me for saying that. But it's island life. Like it's very laid back and it's super chill.
So are duels still legal in the Cayman Islands? Is that something that happens in the parking lot after a game?
What?
uh, so,
Duels.
so
That's
so
a wild
I will say the worst thing that I've had happen to me is I came. So there was a co-ed game, and the team did not like my calls. They thought I was going against them, and they lost the game because I overturned a touchdown for. Because back then we were doing it, you couldn't jump to advance the ball, so they jumped into the end zone to score a touchdown, and I took the touchdown back, and they were not happy. So after after the game, I went to my car, and my tires, the air was let out of my tire, and my windscreen was scratched and spat on.
Wait, you're what?
My windscreen, my car, my
I don't know what that
I
is.
don't know what you
The
call it.
windscreen?
So
The windscreen?
the windshield, the windshield. That's just how I say it. So
Keep calling it windscreen, please. Thank you. We just need, I just want
so
to make sure we're on the same page. So did they
so the
smash it or they just spat on it?
no, it scratched it up and spat on it. That was the worst thing.
Oh, that sucks.
But there's been time. There was a game in the 2013 season, the 2014 season where that rivalry that we had between it was the Panthers and the Hellcats. That's what we call them, and it was so bad that it spilled from the field to the parking lot with the players, and then like the players' girlfriends and them getting involved too. And it just like both benches cleared, went from the field into the car park, people trying to punch people through gates and fences and stuff. And the cops were actually called. So that was fun.
Nice. Windscreen.
That was
I can't even say it. Windscreen.
you've never heard of the term windscreen?
No,
You've
never heard windscreen.
I've never heard that.
But it's cool, man. That's part of us.
so we also so then like the wiper blade, you call them wiper blades, we call them windscreen wipers.
Windscreen. I call it windshield wipers, but okay. Yeah.
Yeah, windshield wipers.
But yeah,
That makes
yeah,
sense.
so-
All right.
yeah. So that's the South African in me.
Okay. All right. So, just for you, Dean, in officiating, what are your future goals? Where do you want to go from here?
NFL. One day, hopefully. I've recently I've reached out to Tom from NFL Flag, and he said to send him an email after the 22nd to look into maybe enrolling in that and getting started with that, because obviously that will be the next step. And then just future officiating, I'd love to get in the NFL one day, and it would be an absolute goal of mine to have all my friends and family see me like on big screen with a microphone. The worst thing they could ever do is give me a microphone because I'm going to be the new Ed Hockley of the NFL. I will be the new Ed Hockley of the National Football League. I will over-explain every call, and I'll hug the mic constantly. And there will definitely be times where I push the wrong button and say something that I shouldn't.
So, have you officiated tackle football at all, or just flag?
No, just flag. I just flag. I haven't done any tackle. I mean, when we did 9-man, there was a lot of contact, but it was never full on tackle. So, but yeah, no, I've never done any tackle yet.
So, what inside the United States? What got you interested in just being able to kind of expand outside of the Cayman Islands?
Well, it was actually there's a lady on the island. Her name is Maggie Ebanks. She used to be the president of our league, and she's the interim president now. But she actually reached out to me. She's like, Did you ever think about reffing in the States? And I'm like, it has come across many times. And she's like, well, I know this lady named Natalie. who works for USA Flag, and so Maggie reached out to Natalie and was like, "Yeah, we'd definitely be interested." And then I think Maggie got Jacob's email for me, and then that was the first email I ever sent you. I was so polite. I was like, "Hi, Mr. Jacob. I'm Dean from the Cayman Islands." Uh, so it was basically Maggie, Natalie, and Jacob who were like, "Okay, well, let's get this kid in." And yeah, ever since then, the rest is history. Now I'm four
Nice.
tournaments down. I will be four tournaments in after Nashville, and
Yep.
yeah,
So,
living it up.
do you have like a checklist? Are there certain places you just want to be able to go?
Yeah, so originally at the start of the year, obviously I was definitely in for Tampa. And then I looked at the different tournaments and I actually had tickets booked for, well, not booked, but I was going to go to Charlotte tournament. But then I'm like, wait a second, Vegas is just a couple weeks after that. So I'm like, I've never been to Vegas, so I'm going to do Vegas. And then obviously Miami, I did Miami because it's an hour away. So anything in Florida, I'll always go to.
Nice.
And then after that, I was like, yeah, Nashville. Never been to Nashville, and it's the national championship. So let's go. Let's do Nashville.
Nice. Well, it looks like we had another guest join us. Here he is. So this is the only Olaf I know that won't melt in the sunshine. Here he is.
Hello, guys. How you doing?
Olaf!
Olaf.
What's up?
What's up?
What's up, buddy?
How's it going? Appreciate
Yeah,
you
being
joining
here
us,
with you
Olaf.
guys.
Hey, are you able to turn your phone sideways?
Like
There
this?
we
There we
go.
go.
Okay, perfect.
Cool. Hey, so Olaf, Dean just kind of let us know his origin story in flag football and officiating. So I'm just going to turn it over to you and just tell us how you started.
Whoa. Well, I started like a few years ago, like 20. And I started refing like not 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 that I wanted to, but some point a league asked me to help him out with the refing just because I don't know, maybe a ref didn't came show up or something. I don't remember. But they asked me for help with that, and I go like, "Well, I've been playing this like since forever, so it would shouldn't be an issue until I started prepping. It started being an issue, and it was hard that first reffing day. It wasn't easy. Everybody yelling at you. Everybody just asking for um, flags and what you're calling that. What do you mean? What the rule says about that? Questions and questions and questions, and it wasn't nice. At the end of that first day, I swear to God, I said I will never do that again, ever. I swear, I was so stressed. I was so disappointed of myself because I was thinking like, well, that's what I saw. I mean, let's say I saw that heat and just if he hit him, I'll just throw a flag on it and that kind of stuff. And why are you calling that? I barely touch him and all that kind of stuff. Well, yeah, but from my perspective, you hit him and you get advantage of that and all that kind of stuff. So it wasn't easy. It was fun though, and after that, I started just uh, getting near to friends that I have who really reps the real thing and all that kind of stuff here in Tijuana. And then I how I start. That's how I start. And then a friend of mine asked me to help him out in San Diego, and the same thing. I first day I was there. I mean, I I had some experience before that, but it's not the same U.S. rules than Mexico rules. So as I got there, my first penalty that I throw it was pass interference, which for me was, but for all of them, everybody said no, no, you can't call that. And I go like, yeah, of course, he touched him, and he was like, no, this is USA, you cannot call that. And it was crazy, but still fun. And well, I started just learning that in US you gotta let them play a little bit more physical. a little bit more of that kind of stuff. And even if you play in Mexico, then you can just be just non-touch, not only non-contact, non-touch at all. So that's most of the big difference between one and another. And for me, it's been fun. I've been doing this for like sort of a 20 years or something already.
Nice. Yeah, Olaf, I met you, I don't know, like 2+ years ago. I went down to San Diego for a tournament and I got matched up. Louis was telling me, oh, you're going to work with Olaf today. So, sorry, I thought I was going to work with a big Swedish guy the entire time. Like, I wasn't. I wasn't expecting you, but oh man, you taught me so much. You cool as a cucumber. There were no issues, and every time you and me have worked together, it's been a
It's
pleasure.
so
And
awesome. It
you
is.
know, so yeah, so it's been fun in San Diego and LA and different places that you and me have been able to work together. I appreciate you coming on and just kind of bringing up the differences and bringing up contact. And so we're going to go right into it. Jacob, if you can give the USA flag rule review of illegal contact for us.
Yep. So first thing we go over is no player may make contact with an opponent that's judged to be unnecessary or provokes rough play. It's a judgment. Anything that uses enough force to knock another player to the ground by pulling, tripping, bear hugging, charging, sweeping, flinging, shoving, etc. Whether or not the player goes to the ground is irrelevant. Um, It is possible for players to go to the ground and not be considered illegal contact. Unintentional collisions are okay. If they meet in the same space. Safety is paramount. Incidental contact between opponents that does not grant either player an advantage should not be penalized. So I know there's, it's a lot. It's kind of wordy. I tried to just, trim it down as much as I could. So,
Yeah, for sure, and I know that's very different. When I've officiated in San Diego, when I've officiated teams that are from Mexico, any little contact at all, they're immediately looking for a flag. So Olaf, in Mexico, is IFAF the only rule book that's used, or how does that work?
Yeah, for sure. Well, there is not the only one that we use, but most of the leagues, tournaments, all of them, they all use IFAP. Number one, because it's a world rolling book for now. And the most important part is because everybody wants to be part of the national team. So in order to do that, they must understand and or play with that ruling book. So yeah, everybody just work with that. They all make some differences between one and another, but just little ones like an IFAF. They don't consider at all the co-ed division. There is no co-ed on an IFAF, but
No.
they all make it on tournaments. They all give it up, and also there is no pitch after the line of scrimmage. Over the line of scrimmage, there is no pitch, but they all allow it on tournaments because it's number one, it's quiet, and number one, it's super fun. So they all wanted to play with that. So other than that, they pretty much play with i5.
Gotcha. So Olaf, how do you think that just for you officiating, how was that adjustment? And like, what did you do to make that adjustment after that first initial time when they told you that that wasn't pass interference at all? How do you shift that when you go into the states officiating this way and back to Mexico officiating this way? What do you do to kind of shift back and forth?
It's been so long that it's been easy that difference between one and another because I mean, everybody, well, not everybody, but most of us start playing football, tackle football. So you know those rules. You know how you're gonna let them play on a tackle football. So that's the only thing that I have to adequate in that situation, going to the States and getting back to Mexico. Because in the States, you just let him play as football, as normal football. Just let him play. Unless he really like pull him down all the way to the ground or really like push him all the way off the field, that kind of stuff. Other than that, you don't call nothing. You just let him play. But other than that, you're good. And in Mexico, that's easier because you just have to make sure the the action just make a difference in the play. Meaning, like if he or she wouldn't do that, would she catch the ball, or she would be able to get to that ball, or she wouldn't miss that flag? If the answer is yes, then you call it. If the answer for you right in that specific moment is no, it wouldn't be a difference, you don't call it. That's how it
Gotcha.
is.
Yeah, and have you just kind of off topic, Olaf? Have you officiated in any other countries or just Mexico?
Just Mexico, USA, and that's pretty much it for now. I'm willing to go to Chile and Panama in the near future, but not yet. I will.
Yeah, nice. So, Dean, just to kind of bring you into this topic, so you started in 9 and 8 man, where truly you let the guys play. So,
Yep.
how did you how did you shift your officiating style when you first came to Tampa? And I don't remember what formats you were doing when you first showed up or whatever, but was it a shock for you? Were there penalties that Jacob had to pull you aside and tell you that you gotta call that or anything? What happened?
Well, luckily for me, Jacob didn't have to pull me aside once in Tampa, so I felt very lucky with that, um, which was really cool. But no, what we did on Island was when I started riffing it. Obviously, I didn't have any outside experience in the United States at all. So when we went away, it was a real shock to me because there was things that I was calling on Island that are not called away. So it was just getting used to that, and seeing plays where uh, there was a penalty, a clear or not a clear, but it was a penalty, but it didn't affect the play. I called it. Obviously, with that, like Olaf said, you let him play more, and it's very that what Olaf said with if it affects the play, if the answer is yes, throw the flag. If not, don't throw the flag. And that was the biggest adjustment. And obviously, once I found that out, it was easy going. It was just like if it's obvious, if it's clear and obvious, throw it. If not, let the guys play, because let them determine the outcome of the game, not the officials.
Nice. Jacob, any thoughts you want to add?
Um, regarding Dean.
Regarding what Dean and Olaf said, or I guess, yeah, if you have something
So
rude to say about Dean, I guess I
no,
don't know.
nothing. Well, what? I'm gonna brag on both of them because I think this is Olaf and I's first time working together was last year, correct?
Right.
And then this year, or then Dean working with Tampa. Both no, Olaf actually, or both of you guys are this year. LA was our first tournament together.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
you know, uh, I'll start with Dean since Dean was Tampa first, and then we went to LA. So with Dean had some good pairings. So Dean also was able to, I think, adjust a little bit better. Um, he figured out things pretty quick. Um, he worked with Andrew Atten the first day, did 8 co-ed. He worked with Kimmy Weldon, who's a good Florida official. They did some non-contact and air it out, and then he worked with Sonia and Jen, I believe, on Sunday, and they worked out pretty well together as well. And a lot of those folks have non-contact backgrounds, um, which I think can kind of help that as well. But yeah, if I remember right with Dean, when he first came out there, he was guns a blazing, but he was a student to the rules. He didn't overstep. He figured it out a little bit. So there weren't any issues there. Olaf was pretty much the same way. Olaf, when he came to LA, I was told, hey, he can immediately crew chief. He's the man. Uh, Outside of Ant when it comes to the West Coast, and Lance, of course. So we put Olaf in, and it was Olaf comes to me. He says, is this right? Is this okay? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And I had no issues. So Olaf was the same way. He's actually, and Olaf, he's not giving himself enough credit. He's a leader among his men that he brings with him. So he's able to take control and take charge, and does it in a very calm, cool, and collected. Just keeps that even keel the whole time. So it's great to have both of these guys with us.
Yeah.
So
So go ahead.
just to say something on the Tampa thing with Kimmy. Um, so I walk into the briefing room in the morning on Saturday, and Kimmy's there, and she's like, oh, I was like, I was looking, I was like, who's Kimmy? Who's Kimmy? And she's like, and the one guy's like, that's Kimmy, and I'm like, oh, Kimmy, hi, I'm Dean, nice to meet you. What do you want me working today? And she's like, oh, I ran so much yesterday. What I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and change your hat. I want you to put your white hat on because you're gonna run the line today. And I'm like, okay, cool. So is this gonna be a white hat for like a couple games, the whole day? So and I
Try.
I will just say this. I will say this. Our field ran incredibly smooth. It was a great day and it was a great experience. Obviously, it was really cool for Kimmy to put that trust in me, uh, to give me that responsibility, which was awesome. And yeah, I loved it, killed it. But it was so
Nice.
weird because I walked in the first thing she's like, "Oh yeah, I did a lot of running yesterday. You change. Go ahead. First thing you can do for me is go ahead and change your hat." And I'm like, "Okay, cool."
There you go. Good luck. Have fun.
All right, Dean. Well, since you're, mentioning names, I'm just going to put you on the spot. I need an answer. You can't, you cannot avoid the
Oh,
answering
you
this
put oh
question.
shit.
Who is
Okay,
your favorite official to work with?
Lance.
Okay. Why?
Safe answer. Safe answer.
What do you mean saying that? No, okay. So I will say this. Lance is very. He's like he's very very. I can't
Aggressive?
find the word for it, but it's just no, not aggressive, but it's just like we fit. Like he says something, I do something. I say something, he do. Like it's just we're. He's not aggressive, no, no, but he's just.
Assertive.
There's just something. It's just there's a
Mean?
flow. Like there's just such a smooth. No, hey, Lance can be very mean. Lance can be very blunt without being blunt. Like he will be blunt, thinking he's giving you a compliment. Meanwhile, he's like, "Yeah, dude, shut up." Like, but he's just like, it's very nice the way he says it. But it's just like, yeah. But it's very smooth flowing, and I guess a lot of players have a lot of respect for him. So I mean, I know obviously in Miami, there's a lot of stuff went down on his field, and he seems to always get the field that like has the drama. But I just find that things flow a lot smoothly with Lance. It's just like I like it a lot, and it's just in Vegas he was like he gave me an opportunity to like push and pull, and he's like he looked at me after the play when DB's like, "You want the line? You want the line?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, why not? Give it to me." And then I was like, all right, cool. And then we pushed and pulled, and he's like, all right, I see this kid. He's got potential. He's got potential. So I really like working with Lance. But and you're
Uh,
great too. You're great too. Don't worry, you are
no,
great
I don't
too.
want. I don't want your pity. I don't want that pity vote. Don't do that. Like, you said Lance. That's fine. Hey, I just want you to know, Dean, that I will throw a tantrum with Lance, and I will never push pull with him. I refuse. And so that's cool that you push pull with him. But me personally, I hate it. I don't like push pull, and it just doesn't work.
Dan,
So
tell us how you really feel.
Oh, he has.
over and over again. So Olaf, talking a little bit, I heard Dean say that, say drama and things that were happening in Miami, but Olaf, in Mexico, what do you see as different when trash talk and fighting breaks out, compared to how it is in the United States?
Before getting to that, you know what, something I learned and I loved it, and I just apply it here in Mexico as owner of a league and tournament. Um, the difference if you say something as a ref, like let's say I'll make a call, whatever. and the teams get crazy about it because it's not that or whatever, and they go to the whoever runs the tournament and all. Hey, this guy is calling this shit, blah 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 blah. In the states, I love that about Jacob. By the way, bro, thank you so much about that. And bro, you always help me out also with that. Uh, as soon as I got there or they got there, you asked what happened. This, and that, and that. And what did he call? That's the right call. And they just shut the fuck up. But the difference between here in Mexico and like the owner of the tournaments and all that, they really wanted to be like nice with those uh, people or those players or teams, whatever, and they were like, okay, ref, you know what? Let's ease on that. Let's not do that. Let's something like that. They wanted to change the way you practice, all that, and I just hate it. Honestly, I just hate it. I mean, I didn't run those leagues and the stars and all that, so I just had to go with it. But I as a ref, I felt so like alone. You know what I'm saying? Like fuck, if I fucked it, I'm on. It's my deal, my shit. It's on me. But after I learned that here with you guys, I go like, that's the right thing to do. I mean, if he fucked it, I will tell him like apart or you know what? Hey, bro, no, that's not right. That's in a separate situation, a next game or whatever. But at the moment, no, that's the right call. That's what it is. Just let him go. And and I start doing it here, and people start crying a lot about it. And but at the end, they start knowing that if that's the call, that's what it is. Is not Olaf is not going to help us out. Olaf is not going to change it. Olaf is not going to tell them what to do or not to do. And they start learning that ref is the only authority in the freaking field. Point. Period. So I just love that, and I wanted to thank you all of that because
Oh,
I
no
really
doubt.
I just feel that comfort of whatever my call is, you're gonna back me up, and that's something. I'm not. Well, I wasn't used to have that here. Now
Yeah.
that I'm doing it, other leagues are start doing it, which is perfect for the rest. I
Hmm.
mean, I just love it for my people here. So thank you guys.
Yeah, no
Thank you
doubt, no
so
doubt.
much.
And I think Ant, and I kind of attest to this. We, at least for me, so I've been in the same boat you've been in, where I've made a call on a field, and I've had a person who's over me come onto the field and say, "Oh, no, we're not doing that." This, and it completely undermines you as an official. And as an official, if your support is siding with the players when it's a judgment or something that's objective, it puts you in a tough spot because then your credibility is out the window. I tell people all the time, we hire you guys, or I hire officials to for their judgment. I trust their judgment. If I didn't trust their judgment, I'd have them removed. I've brought it up a couple of times now. I pulled an official and fired him on the spot in the middle of a game in Las Vegas this year.
I remember that.
And I mean,
Yeah.
if I really see a problem, you're out. I'm done. But you guys on the field, I'm never going to change a judgment call. If there's a question about a rule interpretation or how something is, that's different. It's okay to talk through something and figure it out. And if you guys, I use this as an example because we obviously all know, if you guys all of a sudden said, "Hey, a false start's a 10-yard penalty," I'm gonna go, "Whoa, whoa, 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 let's talk about this. Let's make sure we're all on the same page, but let's do the best thing we can for the game." And I think a lot of I notice here in the States, a lot of other league owners, you kind of have an even split. You have some who are very pro game, who want to do the game the right way, want to trust the officials to do their job, and then you have some that are very pro player, who want to be buddy buddy and want to make everything good for their friends and the guys on the field, because they don't want to get on face have someone badmouth them on Facebook or wherever. You're not going to have quality officials by doing that.
That's
So
You
right.
know, I think something in California that I ran into a lot was league directors that still wanted to play,
can't do that.
and it just they're on the sideline, and ultimately they are the ones that are going to pay me. And but then they're here on the sideline playing and objecting to my calls. It creates this really slippery slope in that
Yep.
situation. And I don't know, Olaf, do you deal with that stuff in Mexico as well?
A lot. I just this weekend we play at a tournament, and the owners of the tournament were at the field, the three of them, and a lot of calls. Actually, right, like until today, this happens Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, here in Ensenada, and I mean we're on Thursday already, and they still talking about shitty calls in favor of them. And because that the only and also bad part, which what you just said, is that it's not about your call. It's about they yelling at you to change that call. I mean, if you run into freaking thing, just if you want to play, just shut up and go with whatever they call. But if you start yelling, hey, no, that's not right. You gotta call it this way, that way, and all that kind of stuff. You gotta pull that off. And no, man, it's not good. Because at the end, everybody thinks or feels that he's the one who's paying. So you gotta call their way.
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
not
for
good. That's
sure.
not good. So yeah, it happens a lot here in Mexico. Uh, Something that I always talk to my refs, because at my league, I play in my league, but I always tell them, you know what? If you have a like a little situation on officiating my game, and you have a slightly doubt about if should I call it or should or shouldn't, just go every single time against my team. Do not hesitate. Just go against my team. Whatever it is,
Uh,
just go against me, because that gives them the certainty of whatever call it is not in my favor. It is what it is,
right.
and that's what I wanted to give them all. And right now, the way I see it or I have heard about, it's my reps are the best here in the state because of that. Because they just fair and square. I mean, they don't know better than the others, but they apply better than the others. That's the difference between one another right now.
Yeah, for sure. And I know that with little leagues, there's definitely the profit margin is so slim, cost of fields, and all of those things. And so sometimes the director has to they got to have a team in there, or that just to have an even amount and things like that. But I mean, on the bigger scale, I mean, you're talking about this past weekend was Coachella, right? And I mean, that's a big tournament. I
Tournament,
feel like
yes.
in that situation, I mean, that's like Jacob trying to bring his North Carolina team to to Nashville playing five contact, and it just Jacob doesn't answer my phone calls anyway, and so if he's playing and I gotta call him, what's gonna happen?
Hey, I'll tell you one thing right now. I would love to ref Jacob's game. That would be hilarious. That would be
You say
absolutely
that.
hilarious. Hey,
You
and
say
how many times has Chun argued your calls? Have you ever refed any of Chun's games?
No, I haven't. No. Uh-uh.
I meant to ask Sonia. Like I meant to, because I know in Vegas Chun played for a team, and I was like, I meant to ask Sonia if he complains, because that would be hilarious. Because I could see Chun like arguing a lot.
I mean,
that.
I told Chun in Vegas the same thing I'll say to you right now. If I officiated that game, I would have thrown Chun out within the first minute, and I don't care. I would have figured out a
Right
way to
away.
throw him out. Yeah, getting him out of there because it's a headache. That's not a headache I want to deal with.
And the thing about, so I'll tell y'all how he is, because I've had him for 2 tournaments now. Sean's not going to say a word to you guys. He knows better. He's very pro ref as well. He's going to come bitch to me, and he will absolutely shred me a new one about whatever happened on the field, and then he's going to go about his day and move on and be perfectly fine. And that's fine. That's what I'm here for. When
Yeah.
we're at these tournaments, I'm the person who's supposed to get shredded when something happens. Olaf, you don't have to disappear, bro. That was just a joke.
Sorry. I just,
Hey,
but yeah,
I love that video in Vegas though of Jacob doing the slip and slide in the middle of the two.
I
Slide
didn't
to
Oh
do
the
the slip
man,
and
left,
slide.
slide
That
to
was
the
getting
right.
that was getting slammed into my back.
Hey,
That was
I,
so.
Dean,
Into the pile.
Dean, I got a perfect screenshot of of Jacob from that video. So
So do I. I screen recorded it and slowed it down to the perfect moment,
Y'all are,
just to where like his left leg is going one way and his right leg is like just sliding.
don't worry, I haven't seen it yet, so I'm gonna ask for the video though.
oh, yeah,
Oh yeah,
that was the
absolutely. You get.
I need that video.
that was the worst. Dean,
yeah,
Oh, it was
well,
hilarious.
do you guys deal with in the Cayman Islands a lot of like league owners or people like that playing as well, or is it like run by like the Parks and Rec, or how does that work?
No, so we have a board, like a CIFA board, Cayman Islands Flag Football Association board. Uh, it's got a president, a VP for men, VP for women. They all play. Everyone plays. The president plays. VP plays. Both VPs. Everybody, literally everybody on the board either plays or refs. I say refs because I'm the only one that refs. But I mean, it is weird when you ref the president because it's like you set some standards and then you throw a call and then like they argue and they think, and I'm like, bro, like argue with me later, like just accept the call and move on. But
Wait, did
um,
you say you throw a
it's
what?
a flag,
Oh, I
like
thought
you
you
throw a
said call.
penalty.
I was like what? I thought you said pause.
No,
Okay, I'm just trying to keep up with your windscreen lingo over here. Okay.
no. So you throw a flag, you throw a penalty, a marker, a yellow thing, the yellow thing with the little yellow thing. Um,
With
and
Santa.
then yeah, so I mean, it's just it's mundane now, like I'm used to it. But we don't really have any league audits per se. The board kind of governs all the like every league. So yeah, it's run by a board.
Gotcha.
nice. That's awesome.
Getting back to your question,
Yeah,
um, it's different here in Mexico about bitching and yelling at refs because most of the part, most of the time, sorry, uh, we don't allow that at all. Like in states, when I ref there, I have to let them just bitch a little bit more, or crying about a call, or giving more explanations and all that kind of stuff. But here in Mexico, we just have to go and no, it is what it is. Play. If you don't want to play, I got to fight for you. Up to you. And they go
Oh
like,
yeah,
no,
here.
but other than but, there's no nothing else. And they just keep bitching on everything. Just flag them, and they're gonna shut up. So pretty much here in Mexico, a lot of people, cry about it, bitch about it, and all that. But refs are in that specific situations. They got that opportunity to just flag them out and just in case if it case comes out, just take them out of the field.
yeah.
Not
Well,
in the
and
states.
yeah, and
No.
let's be realistic, Olaf. It's such a huge swing from the respect that you're talking about in Mexico to the entitled Southern California players. I mean, that's that's a huge swing where they feel like, hey, I was a random security guard in that zombie movie that came out last week, so I deserve every call. Like, you know,
Jacob's face. Look at
You were what?
no, not me personally. I'm saying, scenario. I wasn't.
I'm so confused.
I will
Jacob.
say though,
Okay,
refing in
Jacob,
Vegas.
hold on, dude. Jacob, there's I know in North Carolina they don't have movies, but there's
Yeah,
these big screens that you can watch.
It's called a windscreen, Jacob. It's called a windscreen.
okay, Olaf, before we go any further, the glass on the front of your car that you look out of when you drive, what do you call that?
I can hear you.
The glass on the front of your car that you look out when you drive. What do you call it? The glass
In
on the front
Spanish
of your
or
car.
English?
English.
English.
Windshield.
Windshield. Yeah.
Dean.
All right.
He
Okay.
calls it a windscreen.
Windscreen.
Windscreen. Yeah. Okay. Just okay.
Normal people doesn't.
I'm not normal. We've established this a long time ago.
It's the windshield.
This is how we bring people together.
Yeah. So
We
yeah.
established this the minute I.
No, you know what? It sounds like, Dean, that you catfish Jacob into becoming an official in Tampa by being all proper and nice, and then you show up like this. Like,
So when I got to the field in Tampa, like I showed up a little bit earlier than I was supposed to, which is normal. Like I always show up early. I'm never late. But when I literally walked around the corner, opened the door, and it literally was like face to face. I think I startled Jacob a little bit, and I was like, and I just knew it was. I'd never seen a picture of him, but I just knew it was Jacob. I'm like, "You're Jacob, right?" He's like, "Yeah, you're Dean." I'm like, "Yeah." He knew exactly who I was and who he was, and I was like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Yeah, reporting for duty."
did you guys bear hug? It seems like that was a good moment for a good bear hug.
Well, I mean, it would have been bad
We
if it scared the crap out of me. I was walking out the door, probably getting fussed at by somebody. All of a sudden, there's Dean. Bam!
I think Jacob turned right back and went to the back.
Actually, first time I saw Jacob, he looked so most like not a ref, not the running guy, but like the guy who pick up trash and all that. He was just like he charged all what I mean, he was in charge of it, which is good. He was in charge of something, but he didn't look like the running guy, the main guy or anything. He was so so cool. So hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? Like you don't even know if he really like is the one or the one who just picks things up or I don't know. It wasn't that.
Director of trash collection.
That's the thing. He wasn't directed for something for sure.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean,
Who
you,
looks like the real thing? I don't know his name. This uh this guy. Let me call. You were at Vegas. It was you. This tall guy, tall black guy, and
Coop.
Coop,
and a shorty one.
Chun.
Sean.
Sean, short, real short.
John looks like, hey, what's up? Welcome. Oh, you're the man. Should be. This must be the man. And then I just figured out that he was.
Edit this crap out. He hears that, he's never gonna let it go.
He looks the man. At the end, I just figured out he wasn't. But at first sight, yeah, he looks like the man. He acts like, hey, welcome. You're off. Yeah. And where's your crew? Oh, here's my crew. Oh, okay. Well.
All right. Well, speaking speaking of Vegas, Dean, you were going to say something about Vegas.
What was I gonna say? I think I forgot. Did I forget?
Okay.
Uh,
No,
no. With Vegas, like when I reffed in Vegas, I noticed that a lot of teams from the West Coast, a lot of teams from the West Coast are whiners. Like a lot of them whine and complain compared to the East Coast. Like East Coast is like you make a wrong call, they'll be like, "Oh, I don't like that call." They'll move on. Like I didn't find East Coast teams to be that complaining or whiny. But man, throw a flag on a West Coast team and it's the end of the world.
I mean, I don't know. I think Jacob, there was a episode where I brought it up. What's the whiniest, region of the United States for players? And you actually said the opposite, right, Jacob?
Oh, absolutely. I'll rep the West Coast any day, man. The nicest people out there. They'll ask you about
Maybe it was just Vegas. Maybe it was just Vegas.
Maybe it was just Vegas. Man,
We'll
East
see in
Coast
Nashville.
teams stink when it comes to whining and you're gonna be. I think it's a lot of West Coast teams coming out for that as well.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
Nashville will be the true test.
I just, because I've done tournaments in, both regions, and I don't know. I just feel like the whining is different. And what I was trying to say, Jacob, I wasn't in a movie. What I'm saying is that there's a lot of people that are extras in movies. Some people are ex porn stars that play flag football. There's, there's,
Okay.
there's people that, they're
Podcast, Olaf.
they're social media influencers. That's Southern California, and so there's that entitlement where they're like, hey, I should be good at flag football because I am a movie star or I'm a TV actor, or this or that. Whereas in the East Coast,
better?
I
So that makes you pull
do they?
flags better? Being a movie star?
I guess I don't know.
Okay. The East
But
Coast
then,
are trash guys.
in the East Coast, or specifically Camel City, those guys just whine for no reason. It's just it's like but
Shots fired. Shots fired.
It's not a shot fired if I'm not arguing. I created the monster. I live with it.
Yeah, I think you know what. Honestly, though, I would say that Camel City wasn't. I was only there for a 1 day tournament or the playoffs. It wasn't too bad. To me, I think Texas is where it gets out of control, and that's where all the whining happens. And anytime there's a lot of teams from Texas, it gets a little out of control. But anyway, so Dean, I want to ask you, just from all the different formats that you've had the opportunity to officiate, what is your favorite format?
Oh, I've been looking forward to this question. Uh, so my favorite is five contact. I really like five contact. Love it.
Brown
And
nose.
you're gonna be surprised, but you're gonna be real surprised by my second close favorite, which I figured out in Vegas was really awesome. I like six contact. I don't know why. I'm weird. I'm not normal. I told you I'm not normal. But the contact, I love the contact, and the reason being that I love the contact is you can let players play more. It's not easier, but it's more manageable to officiate because you're allowing that more contact. So some of the things you would call it in non-contact, you don't call in contact. So it makes it more manageable for officiating to ref contact. And honestly, it's yeah, any contact format is good. But five and six are my preferences.
Even you know what? I'm just gonna get on the soapbox for a minute. Even Southern California messes up contact. Olaf, back me up on this. This sixes format that they've created in Southern California. Like there's so many gray areas. You don't know if you're playing non-contact or contact. You have all these guys that are just constantly whining. You don't want to get bull rushed. You can't touch them downfield. All these things. But we play sixes contact in Southern California. It's nowhere close. And Olaf, you like that tough kind of style sixes game?
Honestly, I just figured it out. You know
Yeah.
what? When I started reffing, I started reffing six on six contact, and for me it was hard because there was contact, but they were whining about non-contact things,
Yeah.
and I go like, well, and I went with the guy who runs it, and I go like, hey, should I let him play or not? Should I just go with the non-contact ideas or really contact ideas? Wow, how should I do it? And he goes like, whatever you call, just stay on it. Just don't worry. Just keep it. Okay. Then it would for me, Dean, being honestly honest. I'm sorry, being honest. Yes, it is easier. It's not about uh, whatever you want to say it, fancy ways. Easier. You just let him play. You just don't call it not unless he just pulling down all the way to the ground and somebody bleed or something. You don't call shit. Nothing. You know. It's just whatever
No
they
blood,
want to
no
go.
foul. I like
Let them
it.
go. And if they start whining, you always go like, play, sir. You want to play? Go ahead and play. You want me to call it? I will let you do anything. And then go like, but you better call. Yes, sir. You're out of game. That's how it goes. Easy,
Well,
easy
in
peasy.
in in Vegas, I was lucky enough to officiate. Well, not lucky. I don't know if it was lucky, but Jacob, I don't know if he was trying to set me up. But I got assigned the sixth contact championship. It's the first game I ever because I was like the directors. Chan was on one side, Jacob was on the other side. Um, who was the other? Cooper. I don't think Cooper left already. But what's the other director?
Mark
Uh,
was in the on one backfield, and
Margaret's in the back.
Lance
Nat
was
Nat was there, and Lance was on the one side. And I was like, they even got Lance out here, like ready to go. Like, and all of a sudden, I was like, oh, this game, it's gonna be fun. I don't get because obviously I don't know the history, right? But I was like, it's gonna be cool. 3 plays in, bench is cleared, and I'm like, okay, so this is how we're gonna start the game. I was like, great. I think it was Pat and myself and Greg, and literally I ran out of things to throw. I had nothing. That I threw both flags, my hat, because I just saw like hands going straight to the like boom jolts 1 2, and I'm like, yep, this is gonna be a great game. And luckily,
I
And
just
then immediately Jacob runs straight to the middle, and it's like, that's enough. We're not doing this. We're not gonna do this right now. We are not doing this.
Dean, I'm gonna let you. Jacob won't tell you this, but Dean, they all of those directors were actually there based on what happened in Miami. They were there for your protection because in Miami, you made the decision to try to get in the middle of a fight when me and Jordan had full control of what was going on. We're back. We're back 4 or 5 yards from the sideline, just letting these two guys go at it, and Dean comes running in the middle of it and gets clocked on the side of the head. So those directors in
Hey,
Vegas, they were there for you.
yeah, I learned very well, and it was like that was the first fight of the day in Miami. But there was I think it was a Sunday when I was with Tash and we had another fight on that field with a guy on the side, shirtless guy on the sideline that was drunk. But I was like, shit, fuck another team, and started getting in a fight. And again, my instinct is to run in there and break it up. And Tash pulled me back, and she's like, "Are you crazy? Stop! Don't go in there." And I'm like, I don't know why it's always my first instinct to just go in and break because that's what I'm used to doing on island. There's a fight before where I've literally jumped on a player's back to pull him off. So I'm not afraid, but I get what you're saying. Like going forward, let him fight it out, and then take it from there. I almost did the same thing in that contact game in Vegas, and I was like, nope, step back, throw flags, and watch it happen. And then when it's
If
done, it's done.
You know
part
what?
of
I'll
Jacob,
leave the
go ahead,
I'll
Olaf.
leave the breaking up. I'll leave the breaking up as a fighting to Jacob, doing the slide to the left and slide to the right moves. I'll leave that to him.
That's something that I have to start learning about US. In Mexico, since I've been refing, I have been in a well, not only been known about three, let's say 5 times they fight. They have never fight. They never fight. Not physically, right? Like they yell at each other and all that kind of stuff, but they never fight. Why? I don't know. I don't know if it's the culture or they're afraid of people, because they're Mexico.
Yeah, I know. I know.
I don't know
I
what it
knew where
is.
you were going with that. Before you even said it, I knew where you were going with that.
I don't know what it is, but really, here in Mexico, I've been known, like, well, not know, but I have knowledge of 3 to 5 times that there have been fights in 20 something years. I
And there
mean,
was 5 fights in Vegas just that weekend.
just one day.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
saw two of them.
yeah, and Dean, I heard you bring up, with the game with Tasha, there was a shirtless drunk guy. What you need to understand is, anytime there's a shirtless drunk guy, Jacob's gonna be there. He will handle it. That
Love 'em.
that is
Love 'em.
that is his job description. Handle the shirtless drunk guys.
That,
So let.
that's another thing here in Mexico. Uh, you're allowed. I don't know. Well, it's supposed to do the same ruling for everybody. I know in the states in Mexico same thing, but uh, you're allowed to not let them play if they smell like any weird things like alcohol or anything else. You're allowed to not let them participate in the game. Here in Mexico, if they really stink, they don't let you play. They won't let you play. And in states, you're not only stinks. Whenever you get near to you, you got drunk also just by smelling you, like, or smelling the guys, and nobody cares about it. And I think that's the why getting into a fight is not an issue, or not something like let's say normal. It
Well,
is normal for you guys.
well, let me ask this because alcohol is not the only factor. So I always joke around with people when people talk to me about flag football, and I tell them if I don't smell weed, it's not an actual flag football tournament. So in Mexico, so I'll ask Olaf and Dean, both of you guys. So in your respected areas, is that something that you guys smell normally? Is that something that's around? Is that something? Because I know here, everyone talks about weed, like it calms you down, it relaxes you, it makes you cool, chill out. It works the exact opposite around here. It amps some of these dudes up. Like they have to smoke in order to go play. So Olaf, we can start with you. Like, is that something that's big by you guys, or is that even like around?
Definitely it is. I mean, it's like something that happens. It happens a lot. They all, not all, but maybe 80%, 75% of players do. But the difference, I insist, it's about culture. Uh, they don't do it like at the field, near the field, or not something that you can even see. You
Right.
know, because you saw his eyes, her eyes, and
Sure.
people like they
Nurse
use
tells.
stinks and all that. But other than that, you don't smell it, or you don't see it. Yeah, that's something I still like about Mexico on that. So because they just like not hide it, but they don't show it. That's that's
That's
different,
fair.
and I like that. I like that. I
Yeah.
really like because there's kids here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of kids around. They
Mm-hmm.
even you like it or not, even you mean or not too, you're a role model. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
since you're a good player or maybe whatever, anything, the kids are looking after you, and
Mm-hmm.
they're saying like, I want to be just like him. And if they look at you doing that kind of stuff, they want to be just like you. Same
Yeah.
thing. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I insist. I just love that out of the tournaments and leagues here in Mexico. They don't allow that uh, publicly. I mean,
Right.
you can do whatever you want at home, and then
You
just
can
come.
you can smell it, or it's happened, but it's not being done out in the open. That's
Exactly.
right.
That's how it works
Dean,
here.
Dean,
I
what
do
about you
like
guys on the island?
uh, I okay. Let's just say this: it ain't a co-ed Friday night if the refs aren't getting contact highs. Put it to you that way. Like
Oh,
it
okay.
is, yeah, it is blazing up. Like players will literally on the field, like it's like, and yeah, it's not a co-ed Friday night if the thing with the funny smell is not going.
Fair enough. So I think you take all those things into factor like that. They are all contributing factors to people wanting to fight, to things happening. Right, wrong, and different. However, people feel about it in their personal lives. That's cool. But you have to take that into account when you start talking about all these fights and stuff. Is alcohol
Yeah.
and drugs? They always play a factor in that kind of thing. And I mean the root of all of it is egos.
Yeah.
100%, and that's its own drug that'll never go away.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, Olaf, you brought up a really good point, just about like the respect and the role model aspect of it. This is something that I spoke on about a month or so ago when the national team was picked. I saw a picture of the U.S. national team, the men's team, and every single guy in that picture was throwing up a different gang sign. And immediately for me, that it just it rubbed me the wrong way. That's something that these guys are role models. They're gearing up to go travel internationally. They're trying to be on the Olympic team, and that is such a bad image, and one that I'm never going to be okay with. And I think that that's setting such a bad precedent. It's being a bad role model, and you're basically saying to the next generation of flag football players, hey, this is how we're going to act, and we're going to do what we want. We're going to throw up gang signs. We're going to smoke weed on the sideline. We're going to do this or that. And it worries me that for the United States, that might become their Achilles heel, that other countries internationally are far more respectful. When I did the Continentals last year, I saw it was such a big difference. Whether it was the coaches or the players or even the fans, internationally, the players that the people coming from Mexico, from Panama, Cuba, all those, they had so much more respect. And the way they spoke to officials, like Olaf, you brought it up that they might speak up for a moment, but it's good. It's short. Whereas the American players, every single flag there was an issue. Everything was going, and it's just constant, 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 constant chatter, and with zero respect around it. So, so that Olaf, I appreciate you bringing that up. How do you feel about just this upcoming thing? We got the Olympics in 4 years. Finland. How do you feel as being from Mexico, and what kind of the future of flag football is gearing towards the Olympics?
Right now, it's something that it's growing so fast. I think that's the issue right now. It's growing so fast. They don't know how to just manage it like right away. Like, uh, I I think most importantly is they don't know their role models. They think they're still playing like in the hood and just doing the hood things or whatever, and they don't have the respect of some. I have heard a lot of times here in the states. Well, they're in the states. Uh, I hear a lot of times. This is just flag. This is not football. Uh, like it's I don't know how to call it, but like a under game of the football game.
Yep. Yep.
That kind of
They
stuff.
downplay it. Yeah.
And I number one, I hate it because I love this game. Number two, I do respect this game because at the end, they they just don't understand. Um, I make videos to teach people, just to teach how to do techniques and all that kind of stuff, in flag football situation games, and I tell them this is just like, but it's not the same game as football. Just same yardage, meaning like yards, and you use same football. Other than that, it's a total different sport. It's a different sport. You don't use your body. I mean, you don't hit nobody. You don't push nobody. You use more athleticism than any other thing, and that's something they players. I mean, players. they don't really understand right now. And at the end, if you don't understand it, you're not going to be able to grow with this game, which is growing it right now that fast, that not only fast but that high. I mean, it's really growing. So I mean, do you know there's flag football in Finland? There's flag football in Japan. Obviously, Japan. We all know that. But Philippines, and they don't not only play, they're good. Honestly, I just figured it out like 2 months ago. But the thing is, uh, there's another thing. When I start playing in the states here in San Diego, they go like, "Do you know how to play this game?" What? What are
Yeah.
you talking about? Like,
Yep.
do you play here in Mexico? Down there in Mexico, do you play any flag football? Let me teach you, you little. You know, that's something like honestly, I think you as a player must figure it out, must know that, must get into it more flag football situation games and all that kind of stuff because there's a lot of football, flag football, all around the world. So right now in Mexico, it's growing so much fast. Like in 3 years, we have been growing 400% in 3 years.
Oh,
400%. And we were a lot 3 years ago. So right now, there's like something like 7 or 6 teams out of like 100 people in Mexico. If there's 100 people in Mexico, there's 6 to 7 teams. It's a lot of teams. There's a lot of people practicing this sport, and that is why I know going into the Olympics, Mexico, and not only Mexico, but every single country that thinks about this sport as a serious thing, they're gonna just take it away. I mean, and I put this as something important because U.S. is the one who made football grow and make it right from scratch. But they think because of that they are just. It's like I'm a champion. I'm the champion of my league. I'm just came here just to just chill and win everything out. And that's not gonna happen if they don't think seriously about the sport. They're good because they're athletes, but definitely all other countries are doing it right now. Japan, it's pushing so hard, really so hard. Uh, New Zealand is pushing so hard. Obviously, Mexico, Panama, Argentina. I mean, there's countries that you don't even think about, like they can even know how to play this sport, and they not only do know how to play it, they're getting real good on it. So honestly, let's say that for the Olympics in 4 years, like it's gonna be. I don't want to go that far, but honestly, I think it's gonna be basketball, baseball, football, soccer, and flag football. That's how it's gonna just grow that much this sport, and for the Olympics, it will be just that level for sure.
Yeah, well, and when I was younger, Olaf, I was in a lot of quizzes. I had to learn all those dances. I just feel like you take those dances right to the football field. You swinging your hips. It's just that's such an easy transition, and so I think that just puts Mexico at an advantage. Hey, I will. I will I will always say it. For me, I'm gonna always cheer for Mexico. I want to see Mexico win it. I was excited when they won the World Games for the women. Jacob, go ahead and tell me why the U.S. is better at everything. Go ahead, let
Well,
me
I
hear
mean, we're number one. Duh. It's I think this is a pretty unpopular opinion, but I've kind of said and kind of had discussions with other people about when we talk about the World Games, when we talk about these international competitions, it's not a bad thing for it. People talk about, if USA should blow everybody out, and you got to give some credit to some of these other countries, to what they're doing, to what they're developing. Yes, football it's an American sport it started in America. So it was, it should, there should be some kind of competitive edge there for that. Right. But you start looking at, you look, the U20 tackle football team they lost the bronze game. They got blown out by Japan, and then they lost to Croatia in the bronze game. So it's internationally, it's becoming a thing. Granted, people are going to say, "Oh, they didn't send the best players over there." Again, first of all, these are kids 20 and under, and number two, it's there's limitations for things like that in the United States with kids that age. But on the flip side, like these other countries are learning, they're developing, they're spending the time, and they're putting the energy that we put in trying to better themselves. The Olympics are going to be awesome. I think you're going to see countries that you wouldn't expect to play, that are going to have strong showings. They're gonna do things that are uncommon. If you look at Europe right now, they have a giant tournament every year, and you see these national teams, they perform very well. In the World Games, Italy gave the United States, the men's team, a run for their money. They didn't win that by a large margin. So like these teams are tough, and that's across the board. So I'm really excited for it. Of course I'm going to root for the home team. I want them to do well naturally, but on the flip side, like it's really cool, like at the 10,000-foot view, to see all these countries and how well they're doing, and how far they're progressing in such a quick time.
Yeah, I remember like 6 months ago, YTG went down to I think the national tournament in Mexico, and they didn't even make it out of the first round of the playoffs. So and just like talking to some of the officials down in Mexico, they were like, yeah, and that wasn't even the team that beat them, wasn't even like anything special, or the national team put together or anything like that. Like, so Americans, let's just take down the gang signs. Let's take down all that extracurricular stuff and focus on flag football. And yeah, if America wins because they won because they got the athletes, cool, by all means. But if they're gonna come with such a all that attitude and all that other stuff, man, I'll cheer for.
You're not gonna pull for the United
States. All I'm saying is, the Cayman Islands are gonna win the Olympics. Watch, we're coming for you. Our little old country with 60,000 people.
Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put $10 each. Everybody on the show.
Oh, I'm not picking the Cayman Islands. Absolutely not. No. Not when there's money on the line. No. No, it's. We would love to have. We did an I-Cup back in the day. I think it was before my time with officiating, but we did an international cup where we had a team from Mexico, a team from the US, a team from Canada, and a team from the Bahamas down. And we did like an I-Cup tournament, and we're really looking forward. We really want to do another one. So Olaf, get a team together, Jakob, and bring teams down from the States, and let's have a little tournament on this little beautiful island.
Let me know. Let me know. I'm down.
Jakob, I'll be the director this time, Jakob. Unfortunately, so you.
Oh, good. No, look. Just saying. Now you got to deal with me.
Exactly.
Hey, so
know how that works.
Nobody.
Hey, so I just want to hear your guys' thoughts. I saw this quote from Joe Burrows today. I'll read it to you. He said, "I really want to play for the Olympic flag football team. Like me, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, me and my friends out there playing football. I think it'd be really cool." So, Dean, I know you're a diehard Patriots fan, but do you think that in the Olympics for the men's team, it is going to be filled with NFL current or ex players?
I really hope not. Like, I really hope not. NFL, like, guys, you make a million, stick to NFL. Like, there's nothing before about flag. You went into NFL, stick to your lane, give new, young up, give new athletes a chance. I really hope, I'm telling you now, if it's NFL athletes, I'm not watching it. Like, straight up. Like, it's going to ruin the game because why be greedy? That's just pure greed. It's like, oh, flag football is now a thing. Let's get involved in it. Step back, stay aside, play your lane in NFL, stay out of flag. Simple. Like, don't ruin it because if it's NFL athletes, then they're gonna steamroll everybody. Like, I saw some post where it was like NFL players versus a single dad from Croatia trying to feed his family of four. Like, it was a meme where it was like Tyreek Hill. It legit. Jacob, stop. It was like Tyreek Hill lined up against the father of four from Croatia. It doesn't work out. It's not gonna work out. So I don't know. It was like from somewhere, or from like some like from Turkey or somewhere like that. And it's like it's not gonna work out. Like, imagine Tyreek Hill trying to cover, like, imagine the guy trying to cover a father of four from Turkey trying to cover Tyreek Hill. It's not gonna work. Like, it's gonna be way unbalanced if they do that, and it's not gonna be any fun. It'll be a steamroll. They'll win every game by 80 points.
I disagree with
So
that. I mean,
Go ahead, Olaf.
I love your idea and all, but yes, I don't want to be. Oh, I don't want to let them play as NFL players here in flag. Not because greedy or they're gonna take it away all the everything you might take away from flag football at all. Honestly, what I think is, I insist, it's not the same game. That means they're gonna hit a lot. Actually, right now, the last tournament that I saw, in international tournament, uh, U.S. team got a lot of penalties on contact because they they are used to football. So if you are a formal player from NFL, obviously they're gonna start are trying to play as football players, and they're gonna get a lot of calls, and they're gonna get a lot of beating around because I'm a football player and all that kind of stuff, and I don't know, all that kind of stuff. So at the end, you'll see it if these guys come out and play, and you put up a real flag football team, meaning like Dush and his buddies and any other group, like just flag football players. They will, maybe that's not, maybe smoke them, but definitely they're not gonna win. NFL players are not gonna win. This is a totally different sport.
Yeah, well, and you bring up the difference in rules and everything like that. I mean, I almost feel like the American teams haven't even really seen a lot of international officials yet. So when they go to Finland, I think they're going to be surprised by how many penalties they get, because it's not in recent the last couple international tournaments. It's been in the United States, and the majority of the officials have been from the U.S. with tackle experience, and so they've let people play a little bit more. Where they're going to go to Finland, and I think only like a couple officials from America are going to be there, so it might look a lot different in Finland. Jacob.
So I disagree with that. Um, last year's tournament in Charlotte, yes, I think you're absolutely correct. It was the large majority were American officials. In the World Games, there were 4 American officials on the roster. The rest were internationals. They were brought in from Europe. They were brought in from Mexico. They were brought in from I think Japan had a couple. So there was quite the mix there. And then the year before, I think it was, what was it, that was 2022 to 2021 when they went to Israel. You had again, I think it was just two. Yeah, I think it was just two American officials, and quite a few of those guys. Well, not quite a few, but there's still a handful of players who played then that are still on the team. So I think they understand. I think they've used playing in the States to their advantage. So they hold on one second, sorry.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, I mean, Dean, I don't know, if you watched a lot of those international games at all. Go ahead, Jacob.
Sorry, my bad.
You're
Just
good.
walked in. She had a long day at work. Just needed to say, hey, make sure everything's okay. But yeah, I think the mix. I think having the players play in the States has been advantageous to them, to where they can get away with that little bit of extra contact that they're not going to get away with when they go to Finland when they play in the Olympics. But I also think them going to Finland is going to be a good thing, and I think they're going to do just fine.
Okay, so you're predicting a clean sweep, men's and women's,
Oh my
in
God.
Finland.
I think they have a really good team. I think both have really good teams. I think they're getting to the point of being really talent, chemistry, that being a major factor, and not just picking, people when they say buddy, but picking the best players overall and picking who's going to be best to represent us.
I feel like, of course, the women of Mexico are going to win, but I think the men's, I think it's going to be some team from Europe that's going to win it, like Great Britain, or I think it's going to be a shocker. I think Finland's going to be a little different, and it's going to kind of wake everybody up. And I don't know, maybe things will change a little bit. Dean, any more thoughts on the Olympics or NFL players or anything like that?
Yeah, I agree with Ant on that one. I don't think the U.S. men's are winning the Olympics. I think I think, like Ant said, it's gonna be a team from Europe that's like we're not gonna expect. It's just gonna come up and be like, hey, notice us, we're and we're to stay. Yeah, I mean, I can't wait for it. I'd love to officiate in the Olympics, but let's yeah, we'll see. Maybe not. We'll see.
So fellas, let's put a friendly wager on this. No money involved, obviously. You guys both think that there's going to be a team from Europe. You don't have to say which one, but you guys think it's going to be a non-American team that's going to win. You think Mexico's going to win the women's, but you think it's going to be a European team that wins for the men.
No, well, I don't know about Mexico for the women. I think on the other hand, I think the U.S. women's might win.
I mean, really, the easy wager.
Never mind.
No. I said men's from Europe. I said I agree with Ant on the men's side from Europe. The woman, I think U.S. might take that one, but the men's definitely not.
He's trying to play both of us, Ant. This is.
I mean, the easy.
I should have been a politician.
The easy wager is U.S. versus the field, right? I mean, that's the easy wager.
All right, yeah, that's fair. All right, but what are we gonna wager? I'm thinking goatees.
Oh, that's nothing to me. I lost a bet in high school that I had the shape of penis in my head. Like that doesn't mean anything to me.
Well, I'm not.
How about we should?
You're betting the wrong guy. You're doing something like that.
The loser should get a tramp stamp tattoo.
Done.
I already have one.
You can get another one. Face. There you go. I'm in. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's fine. I don't care.
But it's not. Hey, it's not going to be a permanent tattoo. It'll be a temporary because I'm not doing permanent tattoos.
Oh, come on. Bro.
Here we go. Backtracking again.
Yeah. Get out of here with that. You know what? Hey.
Can you tell him? Can you tell?
Hey. Hey, Dean, Nashville got canceled. Don't come next weekend.
Yeah.
Like, get out of here, man.
Oh, dude. I am so excited for Nashville. I messaged Jacob like a month ago and was like, yeah. So just one thing about Nashville, this and this, and he's like, dude, we're a month out. Relax. And now look, we're like 5 days. We're like a week away.
Yeah.
So
Week out,
yeah, it's crazy.
All right.
It's crazy.
All right, so just to kind of wrap things up, Dean. Thank you, for finally coming on the show. I know I've been trying to get you on. You got so many. You're so busy in the Cayman Islands, and you kind of I don't know with the windscreen and all the weed smoking that's happening down there or whatever. I don't know, but
Trying to hide Jacob's money.
yeah. You have any final thoughts you want to? You have any final thoughts you want to share?
Yeah, no, it's just I thank Jacob and Natalie for giving me a shot at refing. It's really opened up a lot of doors. I got to meet a lot of great people. You know, and it's just it's awesome to be able to travel and see new cities, and ref. In the states, it's awesome. So I look forward to continuing to do it whenever I can. Unfortunately, I have no more vacation days left after this, so this will be my last tournament until Tampa in January, and then my passport expires, so I got to get a new one. So funny thing is, I'm gonna do Tampa, but in January, but my passport expires in February. So luckily, though, South Africa's on a list where we're exempt from the 6 month period. We can travel as long as we have it valid up to the day we're there. So I'm going to do Tampa, and then I think that's going to be it for that year too. Sadly, until I get my passport back, because renewing a South African passport takes 6 months, 6 to 7 months. So maybe just in time for Nashville again.
So start right now. Don't wait.
Yeah. What are we doing?
What's going on, baby?
No, because I gotta send my whole passport away. Like you can't renew it, you gotta get a new one. So I have to send the actual passport. It's weird, but I gotta send the actual passport away. So which means I can't travel, and I cannot apply for it with more than 6 months. So I've got to wait till I'm less than 6 months to apply for it. So it's
Okay,
a
so
whole mess.
Let me ask you an ignorant question. So, can you not? Where do you claim your citizenship at?
South Africa.
South Africa. So,
Mhm.
so you couldn't claim citizenship in the Cayman Islands.
No, because I've got to be for 9 years, which I have been, but I accidentally rolled myself over in 2017 without knowing. I went back to South Africa for like a year, and I lost all my time. So now I've started over. So I got to wait a couple more years, and then I can apply for my citizenship,
Gotcha.
and then I'll be good to go.
Gotcha. All right, I'm with you now. All right,
Jacob, any final thoughts for the night?
man. This was an incredible show. The focus was the international level, and I think this past year alone, we've really embraced it. We've had Dean from the Cayman Islands, we've had Olaf from Mexico, we've had Miguel May and Juan Alfonso from Mexico as well. We've had some Canadian officials, that have come down. Um, I've had contact with officials in Kenya and Ghana, all over the world who are wanting to work with us, and I think it's fantastic. I think the biggest thing leading up to the Olympics is going to be global unity as far as this goes. People learning, getting on the same page, and just embracing what flag football is. So I'm really excited to see where the future's heading, and I couldn't be more thankful for the people who have worked with us, especially the ones who come from so far and are willing to put in the time and volunteer, because obviously you can't come to the United States and make money.
Absolutely.
But we really appreciate our international officials.
Absolutely. So just for myself, I just saw this crazy thing on social media over the last couple of days, and I just wanted to mention. I've said it. I know Chun spoke, really adamantly about the fact that the future of flag football is in the women and the youth. So there is an individual on social media that has decided to create a men's sevens league. I don't know if it's going to be flag or passing, but I think that's just the wrong direction. And I've seen recently. I want to shout out some organizations. The women's, I think it's National Football Conference (WNFC). I don't know if that's the acronym for it. That's a tackle league, and they put on a tournament in Texas where it was like an all-star high school tournament, and then they had all the tackle teams bring flag teams, getting the women involved. They got all kinds of, they got their names out there, all kinds of media. It was a really big deal. I also see, like Law, out in the Bay Area, United Sports of America. He has a youth organization going now. On top of that, he's helped. Him and Dula have helped branch out and start a women's league out there. Southern California, they're finally jumping on it, and Air Raid in Southern California, they just had their first women's league season. That's the direction we need to be going in. We need to, even if it takes some time, even if it means that the women's league only has 3 teams in it, just do it. Get it out there, because if other women know that that's offered and that's available, they're going to come and play. It's the same with the kids. If they know that they can play flag football and it's local and their parents see it, they're going to get involved. Forget about adding new men's leagues. We don't need any more men's leagues. Let's put it into the women and the youth. And so that's my soapbox. I saw it on Instagram and I had to bring it up. Speaking about international, this was such a fun episode. And Dean, I'm so thankful, and I'm excited to see you next weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun. So just for everyone out there, please find us on every platform. Wherever you listen to podcasts, we are on it. We are on every platform possible. But we're doing fun stuff on TikTok and Instagram. And we got a Twitter now. There's a Twitter or X. I think it's called X now. So and then if you want to see the actual podcast, that's on YouTube. And so I just appreciate everybody. But please take the time to like, subscribe, follow. Dean, I'm going to check it tonight. And if you are not subscribed to every single platform, don't speak to me next weekend.
We're deleting the episode.
Yeah, will do. Hey, I got a side quest. I'm subscribed to YouTube, but I didn't know you were on the other channels, so now I'll go and subscribe on the other channels.
There you go.
I got a little side quest in Nashville that I got to. There's a certain celebrity I got to find. Hopefully, I don't think she lives in Nashville, but.
I don't know. Your side quest in Las Vegas was too much for anything I wanted to know about. So please just keep that to yourself, Steve. Okay, I don't want to know about your side quest.
What's the side quest, Steve? What's her name?
Oh no, this has been really fun, guys. Like, this is really, really fun. Thanks for having me.
You're not dodging this. What's the side quest?
The Hawk Tour girls. Gotta go find her. Doesn't she live in Nashville or somewhere in Tennessee?
She lives like that.
She lives somewhere. Maybe, hey Jacob. Maybe she plays flag football. You never know. We may see her on the field.
Probably.
He wants to find a Hawk Tour
Oh, well, now I can use that hashtag for this episode. All right. Well, with that, I appreciate you both, and let's close it out. You have a good night.
See you guys.
All right. Peace out, guys. Have a great night. Thanks again.